Fleeing from fear is always faster than chasing after happiness. This is the most ironic paradox of the human mind. A rabbit being chased by a wolf will run for its life with a terrifying speed far exceeding that of a rabbit leisurely searching for a carrot, even though both are moving their legs in the same manner. The fear of loss always carries more weight than the joy of possession. People cherish an antique vase, not because it is beautiful, but because it is fragile. One slip of the hand, and it shatters into clouds of dust, lost forever. It is precisely that fragility, the risk of disappearing at any moment, that creates true value in the eyes of the beholder. Applying this to the chessboard of human resources, where employees are tirelessly toiling away, reveals a picture that is cruel yet spine-chillingly effective. Why do companies continue to post job advertisements relentlessly, even when their staff is sufficient, or even overabundant with talented individuals? It is not because they are starving for people, but because they want to create an invisible wolf right behind the backs of the employees, typing away in air-conditioned offices. Safety is the sweetest poison that kills effort, when people feel the chair beneath them is stable, and when they believe they are an indispensable link in the chain, they begin to breed arrogance and laziness. They start demanding benefits, comparing gains and losses, leaving exactly on time, and shutting down their computers as soon as work ends. This is the employer nightmare. To keep the machine running at full capacity, one cannot rely on affection or gratitude. Those things are too fragile and expensive. The cheapest and most effective fuel is insecurity. A job posting hung year-round on professional networks, with a job description identical to the positions of veteran employees, is the coldest reminder. Do not be delusional. Out there, thousands are ready to sit in your place for a cheaper price and with a more submissive attitude. There is no need for words, only actions are required. Look at the glass skyscrapers where the lights never truly go out. The HR department is always busy with interviews, even when no one has resigned. Young candidates, smartly dressed and eyes bright with the desire to contribute, sit waiting in the lobby and walking through the common work areas. This is not merely a recruitment process, it is a psychological performance. What do the old employees see? They see a threat. They see youth surging in. They see new skills, and they see a passion that they themselves lost long ago after years of being worn down. The shadow of the replacement hovers in every corner of the office. It creeps into their sleep, turning into an invisible pressure that forces them to run faster, do more, and accept less pay, just to hold on to a flickering illusion of safety. The essence of this game lies in the manipulation of the perception of self-worth. When a talented employee begins to feel confident in their abilities, they tend to believe the company needs them more than they need the company. The balance of power begins to tilt. To regain equilibrium, employers throw a virtual counterweight onto the scale, the labor market. Maintaining continuous job postings creates the illusion of an infinite supply. It sends a subconscious message that talent is not as scarce as one might think. It suggests that processes have been standardized to the point where anyone can do the job, as long as they comply. The individual is erased, leaving only the function. Once an employee believes they are merely a replaceable component, they will not dare demand lubrication or maintenance. They will wear themselves down to fit the gears. The reality is far more brutal than hollow human resource management theories. In closed-door meetings, people do not discuss human development. They discuss opportunity cost and dependency risk. A top-performing sales employee who brings in 80% of the team revenue is an asset, but also a time bomb. If that person quits, the company falters. If that person makes demands, the company must concede. To defuse the fuse, the company hires 3 new employees, accepting short-term losses for training, subdividing the market share, and stripping that star of their exclusive power. The job advertisement now serves as a preemptive strike. It tells the star, "Do not be arrogant. We are looking for someone to share the load, or to put it bluntly, to replace you if you dare to act out. No one is irreplaceable." The graveyards are full of people who once thought they were the center of the universe. Looking deeper into the operating mechanism of this fear, one sees that it strikes the fatal point of herd mentality and the fear of abandonment. Humans, no matter how civilized, still carry the instincts of a social animal. Being cast out of the group is synonymous with death. When they see the company constantly interviewing new people, old employees begin to doubt their own competence. Did I do something wrong? Is the boss dissatisfied? Is there a round of layoffs coming? These questions gnaw at their confidence every day. Instead of uniting to fight for common interests, they turn to be wary of one another. Worse, they compete against the ghosts of candidates who have not even appeared. They voluntarily work unpaid overtime, voluntarily take on more work, and voluntarily remain silent in the face of injustice, just to prove they still have utility value. A perfect state of voluntary slavery is established without the need for a whip. It is even more ironic that this strategy is most effective on the talented and the responsible. Truly lazy individuals are often callous toward pressure, or they are too foolish to recognize the threat signals. But those with ability and self-respect are the most vulnerable to the feeling of being replaced. They anchor their self-worth to their work. Thus, when their job is threatened, their ego trembles. They throw themselves into a meaningless race to assert their exclusive status, unaware that the finish line is being moved further and further away. The more the company posts job ads, the harder they toil. Revenue increases and productivity increases, but labor costs remain the same. Profit is generated from the very anxiety of the workers. Do not naively believe sweet words like scaling up or preparing for new projects when you see carpet-bombing job ads, while the projects are nowhere to be found. Sometimes, the new project is actually the plan to eliminate old personnel who have become too expensive. Seniority salary is a thorn in the side of the finance department. An employee who has worked for 5 years may have a salary twice as high, but their inertia is also twice as great, and their enthusiasm has halved. Compared to a fresh graduate with a low salary, who is obedient and ready to sell their soul to learn, the old employee is a loss-making investment. The recruitment ad is the first step in the blood transfusion process. It prepares a reserve team so that when the time is ripe, when an old employee makes a small mistake, or simply when a contract expires, the transition will occur smoothly, coldly, and decisively. In a flat world, comparison is no longer limited within the four walls of an office. Public job postings on social media are also a psychological blow to one pride. Friends see it, partners see it, and headhunters see it. Your company is hiring for your position. Are you about to quit? Casual social questions unintentionally become knife wounds. Pressure from social opinion forces those involved to brace themselves to save face. No one wants to be seen as a failed cast-off, and so they cling on, accepting harsher conditions just to maintain a fake label of stability. However, one must also look at this fairly. This is not a crime. It is the law of survival in capitalism. Capital has no emotions. It only flows to where there is the highest efficiency. A business is not a charity. Its ultimate goal is profit. Maintaining competitive pressure is the only way to combat the natural stagnation of human beings. If there were no replacement waiting at the door, the internal structure would rot from within. Empires collapse, usually not because external enemies are too strong, but because internal complacency is too great. Continuous recruitment, after all, is a self-defense mechanism of the organization, ensuring that the blood always flows, remains fresh, and that no cell is allowed to become cancerous through stasis. Seeing through this play is not for the purpose of resentment or fear, but for clarity. When you understand that the replacement is a tool, not a sentence, your position changes. Instead of trembling before potential candidates, turn yourself into someone who is irreplaceable in a different way. Not by working like a beast of burden, but by holding the keys that the process cannot replicate. Or adopt a sharper mindset. Accept the game. View the company merely as a partner, a temporary landing dock. If they are always looking for someone to replace us, then we should also continuously look for replacement companies for them. Never put all your eggs in one basket, and never place the entire value of your life into an office chair. When we are always in a mindset of being ready to leave and ready to embrace new opportunities, that job advertisement becomes meaningless. It can only scare the faint-hearted. Those who have mistakenly handed the power to decide their fate over to others. True freedom does not lie in having a stable, lifelong job, but in the capacity to survive regardless of the circumstances. Finally, remember this well. On this chessboard, there are no kings or pawns, only the controllers and the controlled. If you perpetually fear being replaced, then you have accepted yourself as a commodity on a shelf, waiting for its expiration date. Look straight at the "We are hiring" sign and smile. Because out there, the market is also hanging a sign that says we are looking for talent intended for you. The rules of the game are fair. Only the fearful are the losers before the whistle even blows. Do not let the shadow of another obscure your own sun. The strings of self-interest pull the puppet, but the puppet has the right to cut the strings, to walk on its own feet.